Hello, everybody. Welcome to Building a Successful Prime Day Strategy, Future-Proofing with Retail Media. My name is Megan Connerhan. I'm an EVP here at Direct Asia as I focus on e-commerce and retail media. Today, I'll be joined by Charlie Younger, a partner manager at Walmart Connect, to hear more about how brands are going to capitalize on Prime Day across the retail media ecosystem. And then following our session, you're going to hear from Nick Galante and Bridget Menny about how to prep for an omni-channel Prime Day. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump into it. Charlie, welcome. I was wondering if you could just do me a favor and do a quick intro into who you are and your role over at Walmart Connect.
Certainly. Thank you, Megan. And yes, I'm currently a partner manager with Walmart Connect, and I'm just coming up on 2 years here at Walmart. And prior to Walmart, I did spend almost 5 years with the Amazon Media Group, so I do have some background there. So retail media is near and dear to my heart, and excited about just where we are positioned here at Walmart, and working with new partners every day. And just for a caveat, I work in our toys vertical, but I'm well connected for any others that may need to connect the dots internally here at Walmart. So back to you, Megan.
Charlie, I don't think I knew you worked at Amazon before you really left for the competition, huh?
Yeah.
They stole you away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a little closer to home for me geographically here, being in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, great. So let's just jump into it. So I know Walmart has a lot of really great stats and insights. So I'm really anxious to get you to share some of those. So, we titled the session around Prime Day, but when we were thinking about the content, I think everybody has done a how to prep for Prime Day. If you are selling on Amazon, you have kind of those best practices, but what we really feel a missed opportunity is really how to take advantage of Prime Day and that shopping behavior across the retail media ecosystem. So happy you're able to join us here. So the first thing I wanted to ask you is kind of just that exactly, right? When people think of Prime Day, or marketers think of Prime Day, they think of Amazon. But if you track consumer behavior, it has become just an overall shopping day. You see lift in retail media, you see lift on brands.coms, et cetera. But can you talk a little bit about the consumer behavior that you guys have specifically seen on Walmart surrounding Prime Day?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's true. Kind of, you hit it on the head that consumers are going to be shopping and searching for the best deals across the internet. So we've noticed during Prime Day over the years that we see, nearly a 10% increase during Prime Day from a traffic standpoint, and even a carryover to that, over 2% even weeks following those deal event days. And just some statistics that we see at Walmart is, half of our shoppers say they plan to shop at retailer deal events this year. And, that causes a halo effect across these major retailers as shoppers, look to compare prices. So there's somewhat of a, no loyalty there. They're looking for that best deal. But when polling our shoppers, we see that 65% of them say they research across these multiple retailers to compare offers during deal events. And then, almost 50%, 42% say they purchase from multiple retailers during the savings events. And, this is coming from our own, internal polling data. There's also an MRI research insight that says 78% of shoppers compare prices at different retailers before making an online purchase. So, why that's important is, suppliers and advertisers, they can take advantage of the surge in activity across their retail partners, during these Walmart and other retail events, to win over shoppers and to ultimately convert them, to loyal customers.
So a bit of a follow-up question there, and it just kind of occurred to me. So brands or consumers are going back and forth across retailers looking for the best deal. So if it's really a lot about price comparison, why would a consumer decide to purchase on a Walmart versus an Amazon or Target or something like that? What have you seen be like that differentiator?
Yeah, well, certainly there's price and some convenience. So I think people are very familiar with Prime, but Walmart has also rolled out their Walmart Plus program, which has been growing. And that's been one of our key focuses because we found that those are some of our most valuable shoppers from a customer standpoint to our suppliers, in the sense that it's helping us grow that higher household income demographic section of our audience. And I think that's just the key. And that comes along with the perks and bonuses of timely shipping and things of that nature, some flexibility of having it delivered or pick up in store, and giving those consumers the option.
So really it's just about where consumers are most comfortable purchasing, providing them that option and flexibility. Okay, wonderful. That's great. So based on that, I mean, I think it's clear that obviously increasing the attention that you're paying to Walmart or other retail media is going to be really crucial. But could you talk, so from like a merchant standpoint, from an advertiser standpoint, other than just making sure some base things are set, right? Like during that time, I assume you want to up your budgets, you want to up your bids, but those are kind of table stakes, I think, for most marketers during this time. Is there anything that you can talk about that is maybe a little bit more out of the box, things brands should be doing, things that they should be thinking about, whether that is going into this time period, during the Prime Day or deal days, or after? Like, what would you recommend?
Yep, and I think that's a good question. You touched on it. Our team, we can help with our partners, our suppliers, to supply cap out reports, just to make sure you're not running out of budget in midday during those peak traffic and purchasing and shopping timeframes or deal events. So that is, kind of table stakes. So I think everybody's got a handle on that to raise those up during these key times. And most partners, they start with kind of our best practices and with sponsored products and search, and having that as an always-on approach to reach those people when they're searching for your products. But within our search product portfolio, we have what we call sponsored brands. It used to be referred to as a search brand amplifier, and it's kind of my way of describing it. It's the hybrid of a branding tool with performance metrics. So you can buy it on a cost per click, and this is where you can showcase a number of products in a carousel that will appear based on keyword searches above the sponsored product search queries, and get your brand and products to the top of the page to help rise above the clutter, especially during these deal days when you want to capture those and potentially competitive keyword bids there. But one other thing that's new that suppliers should be thinking about is onboarding with our new display self-serve platform. And this gives you the ability to launch campaigns more quickly, take advantage of micro events or things that may happen, come up on social media or even these deal days, because historically we've been only able to run display media through our managed service platform, and that does take time, sometimes up to a month to build the creative, to get it that look and feel of the Walmart experience. But with our self-serve, it can be launched within as quickly as 72 hours sometimes, and we don't have a minimum campaign budget for that. So it really gives our suppliers flexibility to launch quickly and not require the larger budget that's more designed for a longer flighted campaign. So this can help you take advantage of these short moments for converting quickly. But I'd say the other thing to think about is to work with your merchant partners on any deals you can offer. Certainly making sure you're in stock, as well as maybe offering a rollback offer, some kind of a price break during the these key deal days.
Yeah, and I love the self-serve display. I think it is really it makes a lot of sense. It's going to open up certain advertisers to working with Walmart in a different way. To piggyback off of that a little bit, could you talk a little bit about, I mean, you touched on the self-serve display, but what other things is Walmart coming up with, right? Like, I think Walmart has done a really excellent job in user experience and merchant onboarding and building out your variety of product offering. And it's been very clear that Walmart has been taking seriously trying to up their or increase the amount of ad products, increase the amount of like self-service offerings that they have. So can you talk a little bit about some of the other really fun things that are either like maybe in beta right now, or they're coming down the pipeline, or things that you're really excited about that you think will make a really big impact for sellers?
Certainly, yes. And I know, the digital side of the business from Walmart's overall perspective is a big focus, and that continues to be related to automation, as well as within our partnership channels within our API partnerships and agency partners to help be an extension from the Walmart team. But I did mention our display self-serve, which does manage for on-site campaigns. And then the other, you mentioned betas. So we have our self-service brand shop beta, which is a big step to get us on par with some of our competitors in the retail space to enable suppliers to update quickly and manage their own brand page and brand shelf experiences on site. The other piece of that is we have a beta currently running with sponsored videos. So search-based videos, something that you'll see as well as on our competitors. So that's big focus is video from our standpoint. And then last year, we do have a partnership and rolled out our display, a DSP in partnership with the Trade Desk. So there's self-service options there through agencies, or they can manage this in-house. That reaches, helps reach that Walmart shopper offsite, and provides our closed loop attribution, our omni-channel solutions, at scale. And I guess the other things to think about that you may not come and thinking beyond search and display is I mentioned omni products, and we do have this TV wall, which is an in-store video ads that we can offer through the Walmart Connect team, as well as a self-checkout ad. And I'll pause there and kick it back to you.
Yeah, I want to dig in on a couple of those things.
Yeah.
So this specifically, the brand store and the sponsored brand video is really exciting. It seems like Walmart's doing a lot to try to allow advertisers to tell that brand story on the Walmart platform. Is that a really big initiative, just allowing you to continue to enable advertisers to have that voice in differentiating their product and their brand identity?
Yes, most definitely. And I think the big thing related to the brand shops, these are going to have SEO value related to them. And historically, our Walmart Connect brand pages were just more of this island, which were only reachable through display media. So these new self-service brand shops are going to be much more valuable to the brands, as they get them rolled out and get familiar with the platform. But it's all going to be baked into our current dashboard, which if you are a current supplier, you're familiar with that. So single sign on there to access display self-serve, your search, as well as your self-service brand shop.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's really clear that Walmart is listening to advertisers. One of the big pain points is making sure, you have control, you can tell that brand narrative on these retail media networks, and not everybody allows you to do so. That's really exciting stuff. The other thing you talked about a little bit was some of the in-store capabilities, and I'm particularly really excited about the further integration of online and offline. And obviously Walmart has a really big leg up there, right? How you said, closed loop attribution, you can connect the dots. So can you talk about what attribution looks like right now, and maybe the future of attribution for Walmart as you're able to connect in-store and online, et cetera?
Yeah, and certainly that was a big piece that really attracted me and caught my attention with Walmart, just having that, our closed loop attribution, omni-channel solution at scale, which allows your partners to measure online, your mobile, your offsite, on-site, and even connected TV through the DSP, as well as in-store sales. And that can all be monitored in our daily dashboard, which is really powerful. So we also have those solutions like you mentioned, the TV wall and self-checkout, which right now there's internal beta on enabling the same attribution level there that we would with our display media and offsite off of that sales attribution, which I think is great. And it helps us really understand what tactics help drive performance for in-store sales as well as online. And we have found that offsite media tends to perform really well from a return on ad spend for driving in-store sales.
Interesting. And so you have a lot of that data. I don't know if you can share any of that, like what percentage lift, just showing maybe even online ads show, or what percentage lift would offline sales have for showing online? Wait, I'm wording this all wrong. But I think you would get my question. Like if we had like a digital ad for Walmart, what is the lift that you typically see in offline, right? Because we can measure return and ROAS and digital digital sales, but how do you normally see if somebody has a retail media campaign live with Walmart, you're spending digital dollars, how does that lift offline?
Yeah, and I think it's certainly going to vary quite a bit from
Of
marketer
course.
to marketer and channel categories and so forth. But I think in general, that the point I was trying to make was that when comparing, your online targeting tactics, whether it's contextual or behavioral or in market, leveraging that um, for an advertiser, those will tend to perform well for driving online sales. And then we find that we can use similar targeting tactics to drive, reach those consumers after they've left Walmart and reaching them out on the larger web. We found that that just tends to perform well from a return on ad spend for driving in-store foot traffic sales. And it could be a number of reasons, just where they are in shopping and maybe not thinking of Walmart, but also, the cost of the media. I think it's more efficient from a cost and CPM standpoint to get that same audience elsewhere. So it does tend to drive a stronger return on ad spend.
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear. You would think that maybe it's the more on-site ad units, but that's really kind of very interesting. And I'm sure you could follow up if anybody has questions on that. I'm sure we could follow up with
Certainly,
different data there. So can you talk, I guess, a little bit more, and maybe this is just a continuation of the same points. How do you think Walmart is winning or going to continue to win against the other retail media networks? I know attribution, obviously, like you said, that's the thing that really sold you and got you over. And I agree. I think there are limitations that other major players in the space have, which is the offline. But can you elaborate on where you think Walmart is winning with for brands and overall?
Yeah, and this is some of it's coming from my own perspective, but just my experience here over the last 2 years, from a search and digital standpoint, still think there is a big greenfield opportunity for marketers, just from a competitive standpoint and bidding in certain categories, that there is a chance to really get in while the rates are lower and those bids aren't as competitive as on other platforms. So that's one thing I've seen, and then just to reiterate, as the Fortune 1 company, Walmart's omni-channel presence, our massive scale with our first party data, that closed loop measurement, really tends to give us a leg up when thinking about competition.
Yeah, and I think even your point on some of the competitive prices is really fair. You answered that in a very noble way, because it's true, and you see it across the board with some other bigger players in the space. As prices get higher and higher, as there is more competition, it is not as efficient. Profit margins are really squeezed, and with Walmart, you're not having that same issue at the moment. There is still a lot of volume, a huge reach, but you don't have the same maybe competitiveness. I mean, maybe not for long, but to your point, I think that's a really good extra point. The other thing I thought was really interesting too, and it kind of goes back to the offline online conversation we were having, is that one of my colleagues was even sharing with me that, and I'm sure the information came from you, that if you wanted to secure shelf space in your physical Walmart, if you have a really high performing digital seller, that will essentially give you a leg up. So giving brands who maybe previously could not get shelf space in Walmart an opportunity to really make a big difference in store, which is really very cool.
Yep, you have that endless shelf space on the digital side of the house, and then there's certainly there's a dynamic, and it's a much larger conversation about working directly with our merchants as well as our growing marketplace environment. So there are challenges there with the evolution, but we're here to work with you to help sort through and navigate the best practices there with our merchant team as well as our media team.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I want to dig a little bit into a little more about first party data. Like, one of the promises that you said, and you talked about this, about retail media, is in this world we're all entering where cookies are no longer the ability to leverage your own first party data and a brand's own first party data and enhance it with like the Walmart first party data and retailer data sets. That's huge, right? If you think about Amazon's like marketing cloud and CDPs, it's just becoming so much more commonplace. So can you talk a little bit more about how Walmart is thinking about first party data generally, what the future will look like? And I know you probably can't disclose any huge gangbuster plans or anything, but I would love to get your musings on that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and you mentioned, these, the cookieless future, and the Google's third-party cookie approach is being delayed here, and we'll see if it happens, late this year or not. But as publishers and advertising channels, they struggle with this change and how to manage it and what it's going to look like in the future. Walmart Connect and Walmart, we're uniquely positioned to remain really ineffective due to this, due to our large scale and proprietary first-party customer data, and with our media solutions that we continue to build on top of that. So we're not relying on third-party identifiers to deliver our campaigns, which helps us create that, helps solve for a number of things in consolidation across our Walmart platform.
Yeah,
I think the other piece of that, just thinking about that whole thing is, just with our DSP partnership, suppliers can create, customizing segments with their first party data as well as the Walmart first party data, to help enhance that, customer reach and targeting and messaging.
Yeah, and you and I spoke a little bit about this yesterday when we connected, but retail media is the darling of the moment. It is the thing that is keeping all of digital a little bit afloat. Many other, I think it's like CTV and retail media, the two hyper growth areas for digital media. And I think this is one of the major reasons why being able to integrate your first party data with a retailer's first party data and just like be able to perfectly accurately target somebody, and then with the seamless attribution is sort of a no-brainer. So I'm very excited to see what you guys continue to do here. I guess one of the last questions I have before I turn it over to my colleagues is just fragmentation, right? So Walmart, we are a big believer in the Walmart, in Walmart Connect. We think retail media is the future. I can have, huge conversations with you about just connected commerce and how important I think it is for brands to enable commerce wherever consumers might be interested in buying. But fragmentation is obviously a really huge issue. And a lot of brands are having trouble just kind of figuring out what to do, right? There's so many new retailers entering. We are still at the time where we have limited resources. Many brands and sellers have limited dollars, time, just general resources. And then you have like, Walmart, Target, Uber Eats, and Macy's, Home Depot, all of these other companies coming into the mix, and they all feel really important to investigate. So I'd love your advice for brands on where would you begin, which retailers you think have the largest growth opportunities, how would a brand do the pros and cons analysis of this? And obviously Walmart is number one, always on everyone's list.
Right.
So.
Well, certainly, and I think it will depend on, the categories, whether you're an apparel company, maybe it's great to have that, Macy's partnership, for example, or hard lines or tools. Home Depot makes a lot of sense, and I think certainly Walmart has their own categories here. But from a growth, you mentioned growth opportunities. The Walmart Connect business over last fourth quarter, this past year, we grew 41%. By adding our new DSP and our self-service options, and with our attribution at scale, companies are starting to look to us to just go beyond their shopper marketing budgets and considering, national media budgets for connected TV or out of home. That fits into our TV wall, self-checkout campaigns. And it's really because you can measure these results and justify that investment. And, our most strategic partners now have really leaned in, rolled up their sleeves with us, and these partners can look to Walmart and know when they take a certain investment, and they can expect to get a specific return from that investment based on their experiences. So they really know how to control their market share and drive sales to meet those KPIs and results and business goals throughout the year.
Yeah, so it really does come down to just category alignment, and then reach, as well as like obviously ease of advertising and brand control and things of that nature. It's for all brands, I think we're struggling with, we need to prioritize. So for priority's sake, let's tackle X, Y, and Z first. Okay, perfect. This was super helpful. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to stick around at the very end for a big Q&A. But without further ado, I want to turn it over to my colleagues, Nick Galante and Bridget Menny, and they're going to talk to you about how to prep for an omni-channel Prime Day. After them, we will have, like I said, a Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to start chatting them to us, and we'll take them at the end. But thank you all for your time.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, great. Thanks, Megan, and hi, everybody. I'm Nick Galante. I am the VP of e-commerce at Direct Agents. So I oversee both our Amazon and our retail media teams. And Bridget heads up our client success department. So Bridget, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Bridget Menny. I'm a client success manager here at Direct Agents. Really specialize in growth acceleration for a lot of our brands, Amazon, Walmart, Target, any retailer, and really excited to be chatting with you all today.
All right, so we want to get right into the meat of it with you guys, but I thought, given the topic at hand, it probably a good idea to start at the beginning and think about just how large Prime Day has become. And really, when we look at it, it's basically a cultural phenomenon. 2022 was the largest deal event in history. Over 300 million items sold. That's around 60,000 items per minute. And even on some of their newer platforms, in terms of Amazon Live, we're seeing over 100 million streams viewed. So this is an interesting inflection point, I think, for Prime Day just in general. This year in particular, with all the socioeconomic conditions that are happening, I know inflation has been on everybody's mind. So it's going to be incredibly interesting to see just how large 2023 is in comparison to 2022. But we have already started to heard rumblings that Amazon is potentially going to extend it. They have historically done 2 days. We're getting word that it might even be 3 or 4. But another thing we wanted to bring up is that while we know Amazon is kind of a giant, what you may or may not know is that they're not the only retailer that matters. Over 52% of shoppers that were polled plan on shopping at non-Amazon retailers during Prime Day. So for us as marketers, if we know 50% of your target market is shopping elsewhere during Prime, that is absolutely opportunity to take advantage of. And we've got a few strategies that we're going to be sharing with you guys today to get you set up for success. In general, though, I think this is indicative of a larger trend that's happening. And I know Megan and Charlie spoke to this a bit, but digital as a whole is at an interesting inflection point, right? Search and social media have the deprecation of cookies. CDPs and customer data platforms are becoming kind of the central theme to a brand's data strategy. But when you look at retail media, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Instacart, Uber, Wayfair, it seems every day there's a new retailer offering ad solutions. And I think what they've come to realize is that they have access to buyer data that simply can't be matched. So this, we predict, is going to create a paradigm shift in advertising, potential to create over 1.3 trillion in enterprise value in the United States. And even just this year, eMarketer has projected that global spending is going to be around 122 billion. So this is pretty amazing, considering just 7 years ago, this space didn't exist. But at the end of the day, ultimately, everything goes back to today's consumer. And I think he or she just wants choice. So brands that offer customers the choice of where to buy that suits them, whether it's a retailer or your own .com, this is the future of retail. So with all that said, let's jump right into the tactical plans and plan of actions for Prime Day. I know we wanted to start with Amazon, but then we'll also get to retail media. So Bridge, why don't you take over and share the info for plan of action for Amazon?
Yeah. So yeah, first we're going to kick it off with our plan of action for Amazon. There are obviously things you should be doing that everyone is going to be doing, like increasing your bids, your budgets for your campaigns, your product mix. All of those are very important. But today we want to focus on just 4 things for Amazon that we think will set you up for success and should be top of the list, as well as things that might set you apart from some of your competitors. So with that, to kick it off with inventory management, this may seem quite obvious, obviously have product in stock for Prime Day, but most of the time when we see some lesser than we wanted performance on Prime Day from some of our clients, 90% of the time it's an inventory issue. Prep for those 2 days or maybe 3 or 4 days for Prime Day this year to be very hectic. It is very hard to get any support from Amazon and you're kind of on your own a little bit. So keep that in mind as you are making sure that your FBA inventory is in stock. And with that, we strongly recommend that you have some sort of self-fulfillment option. So whether you're a seller and that's FBM through a third party or your own warehouses, or if you're a vendor and you have an option for direct fulfillment, this is the time where those will come in handy more than ever. Keep in mind that conversion rates will increase about 15 to 20% on Prime Day. If you are out of stock, you will not see that boost that we all want to have. So just make sure you are set up for success. If you are not, capturing that sale by being in stock, someone else will be getting it. So make sure that's top of mind now while we're prepping for Prime Day. Our next point will be moving on to AI for retail readiness. AI is a hot topic right now, we all know. I know it can be daunting and a bit complicated, but you definitely don't need to be an expert at all to utilize the benefit that AI has to offer. On this next slide, we have just a few examples of how we utilize AI here at Direct Agents and ways that any brand can pick up and do immediately using free tools like ChatGPT. So we utilize ChatGPT a lot for SEO content, building out title, bullet points, all those great things, as well as review analysis. Super important to make sure that you are hearing what your customers are saying about your products, going ahead and putting that within your SEO, and in turn seeing that conversion rate lift or be maintained because of that. Utilizing these AI tools can optimize a very large portfolio very quickly, saving you and your team hours. So don't shy away from some of these great AI tools. Moving on to our next point for Amazon will be promotional strategy. It's truly impossible to have a webinar on Prime Day and not talk about promotions at least a little bit. So on Prime Day, we recommend that if you are running a promotion, which you should do in some way, shape, or form, that you have a goal tied to that. There is no need just to slash your price just to do so. Make sure you're being very strategic about what that discount will be, how you're offering that discount, whether it's a lightning deal, a coupon, just a simple price discount. There are many ways you can do it on Amazon, and be really thoughtful about how you're going to run that discount. We recommend running a lot of promotional tests leading up to Prime Day, finding that sweet spot of what's your dream discount where you're still seeing that sales lift, but your margins are maintained. That'll be really crucial to make sure that once Prime Day does come, you know exactly what type of deal to run, what type of discount to run at that point. Most of our clients have seen success with running deals less than 30%. We would say no need to go much higher than that. We don't see that huge sales lift where it's really worth it. So start there as a starting point for any promotional tests you're running between 15–30% discount. See what works well for your brand and your products. And again, if you're not capturing that sale, one of your competitors are. So make sure you're doing market research, how your competitors approaching this holiday, how have they done that in the past, and take that into consideration when planning out your promotional strategy. Our next point will be awareness to grow BSR. This is a common question we get from most of our clients. how can I be #1 in my category? How can I increase my BSR? And it's a great question. And the main thing that drives BSR on Amazon is going to be sales velocity. So that's growth over time, as well as just within recent days. If you have a quick spike in sales, you'll also see that boost in BSR. However, here at DA, we've noticed a lot of correlation between driving outside traffic onto Amazon and in turn seeing your BSR lift because of that. So on this next slide, we have a few quick stats from a case study with one of our clients who was an emerging seller within their category. They decided to run last year both Google and Meta ads leading into Prime Day, a really strong lead-in strategy that we highly recommend. They were more awareness, upper funnel ads driving to Amazon. So by employing that tactic pretty early on, they saw about a 46% increase in BSR before Prime Day even began. So setting them up for success in a really strong way before the sale even starts. And then after Prime Day, after seeing that spike in traffic and sales, they were up 98% in BSR. So this is another great way to approach Prime Day, not just as a time to run deals and see sales, but how can you grow your brand and your product within your category and come out stronger than ever going into Q4. So another great thing to keep in mind are these other ways to grow your presence on Amazon without just slashing your prices left and right. So that wraps up our last point on our Amazon plan of action. We are now going to pivot to our retailer plan of action. I hope the point has already been made clear that these other retailers are so important. Strongly urge you to diversify all the different retailers that you're on. Invest in these other channels like Walmart, Target, Macy's, whatever may be applicable for your products, and keep them in mind during Prime Day as well. So our first point here is to take advantage of these retail specific deal days. Most of these retailers will be announcing a deal day that is similar to a Prime Day. They're going to wait for Amazon to announce theirs first and make that first move, but then they will be announcing what their equivalent will be. We've seen these last up to a week on some retailers. Sometimes it is just 2 days similar to Amazon, but these are going to be mimicking Prime Day on those specific platforms. And you're going to want to make sure that you are mirroring whatever strategy you have on Amazon on these other retailers and make sure that you're covered across the board. You want to meet your customer where they are at, no matter what retailer that they're on. Make sure you're offering that great deal across the board. Next is going to be exploring new campaign types. I know it seems crazy to say, try something new on truly the biggest day of the year, but we think a lot of competitors are going to be thinking that way. As Charlie mentioned, there's a new sponsored video brand placement on Walmart, which we have an example on here on the next slide of what that really looks like. But once you do kind of employ some of these new ad types that are constantly rolling out as these retailers are changing, this may be a way to increase your awareness on these other retailers before competitors can even get there, since they are so brand new. With that, we've seen a lot of success with video campaigns across multiple retailers and usually see click-through rates 40% higher on video campaigns than sponsored product campaigns. So think of these as a great awareness tactic to drive more people, more eyeballs onto your PDPs, and having a great video that represents your product and your brand well will be super crucial. So don't shy away from some of these new updates that are coming as we speak, and be sure to test them out during Prime Day to really set yourself apart. Moving on to our next point, we'll be creating limited time exclusive bundles. Bundling is a great tactic in a way to create, enhance your product mix without actually creating any new products, and a way to make it exclusive to certain retailers to drive attraction to a Walmart, to a Target with a limited time bundle offer. These are another great way to just increase your AOV, your average order value, hopefully seeing that overall lift in sales that we all want to see. And just mixing up what you're offering to customers, whether they're new or brand loyal customers. So all very crucial. At DA, we've done a lot of testing with bundling. We've seen the most success with bundling 2 complementary products. However, we recommend that you're using data to back this decision. So use your market basket analysis that you have across any retailer that you're on. Try and find 2 products that have a combination rate, at least 8 to 10%, we'd say is going to be the most successful successful. That way, you know, these products are frequently purchased together. Let's offer them together in a bundle and see that success from just increasing sales, awareness for a new product, whatever it may be with your goal for that bundle. But again, utilizing that data to really back up that decision. And then here's an example of a brand. So this is Nintendo on Walmart. I'm utilizing a bundle with actually 3 products as just a great way to bring awareness to maybe a new game they're launching, offering more of a discount by purchasing all 3 of these products together, and hopefully just bringing awareness to the brand as a whole and offering that more exclusive deal to some of those brand loyal customers, you know, and kind of increasing that chance of an impulse buy to try something new. And then our last point for retailer is going to be about brand loyal customers. I think a lot of people get stuck with reaching new customers on Prime Day, but try to find ways to, you know, benefit and foster that relationship that you have with brand loyal customers that keep coming back regardless of whatever retailer they're shopping on. So whether that's sending out an email blast, giving them a sneak peek into the deals that you're running, you know, the discounts that you're going to be offering, whether that's a tiered loyalty program, whatever it may look like and the offerings are on these other retailers, try and find ways to utilize those to benefit those customers that you know are already interested in your brand. And ideally after Prime Day, this pool is going to be even larger. You're going to want a large pool of brand loyal customers, and it's going to be so crucial to maintain those relationships after Prime Day. Ensure that everyone got their product on time, that you're addressing any issues in customer reviews, and keep those customers coming back for more on any retailer that you guys are present on. In our experience here at DA, the brands that have the most success during and after Prime Day are ones that really prioritize that customer relationship and foster that brand loyalty that's already there. Once you do that, you can continue to see that month-over-month growth after Prime Day into Q4, which is going to be the way that you're going to see 2023 as, you know, a great overall year and that growth we all want. So keep up that brand loyalty relationships and really foster that and learn a lot from customers that purchase during Prime Day as well. So that wraps up our plan of action for retailers. This here is just kind of our key takeaways that we have. Nothing new on here that we haven't chatted about today, but we do have 3 main points that we want you guys all to take away with. First is other retailers do matter. I hope we drove that point home enough. It's important to think of Amazon. Yes, that is going to be the giant as always, but there is so much untapped potential on these other retailers. Strongly consider them when you're looking at your overall Prime Day strategy. Next will be your price and your lead-in strategy. As we mentioned, we really recommend having a strong strategy associated with running a promotion, have a goal in mind, and have your lead-in strategy help that. You know, make sure it's a full cohesive funnel and plan, not just looking at those 2 days, but overall. And with that, I think that leads into our last point quite well, is not to neglect that post-Prime Day strategy. This is a time where we have more data than ever on brand new customers. Your remarketing pools are hopefully bigger than ever and have tons of learnings from there. And with that, making sure you're fostering those client relationships and maintaining anyone who's going to be a new brand loyal customer for the rest of 2023.